Hey, it's Tura here again. This time around, I want to talk about my perspectives on sensation. I'll cover what I think sensation is in general, and then shift on to how I think sensation differs between the introverted and extroverted attitudes. There's a lot of misconceptions about sensation in the type community. It's basically seen as anything physical, playing sports, that sort of thing in the extroverted attitude, and being stuck in the past or nostalgic in the introverted attitude. I think these are just totally bogus. Sensation is pretty much just facts. Not facts as in things that are logically true, that will be the realm of thinking, but facts as in irrational facts, facts that exist beyond the realm of reason or outside of thought. Facts such as, I'm sitting on a chair, that's a sensory fact. The milk at my local Coles was $3.59, that's a sensory fact. I'm in a house, that's a fact. Clouds are in the sky, that's a fact. I heard a bird earlier, that's a sensory fact. Here's a little young on sensation. Sensation simply tells you the visible, tangible sense qualities. Sensation is a sort of perception. It knows the thing is there. Sensation has to learn by experience. Young also notes that sensation types have difficulty accepting things they cannot see with their own eyes or touch with their own hands as real. Sensation is the function that perceives reality, what actually is, and it's not the same as the functions of the body. It's not the same as when you're enjoying what you're eating. It's not the same as when you're having a bath, to reference Young. This idea that sensation is related to these types of things is an intuitive misconstruct that gets sensation wrong. Sensation is purely perception, and it's a perception of reality. Sensation could easily just be renamed facts, and it would be entirely accurate as long as the facts are understood correctly. I understand reality can be debated. People can argue about what is real all day. The reality that sensation perceives, the facts that they perceive, are what can be observed by themselves with their own sense organs. Because sensation is an irrational function, this means it operates outside the laws of reason. So sensation doesn't interpret information. Sensation doesn't make sense of anything. Sensation doesn't assume anything. Sensation doesn't make any kinds of judgments or decisions about anything. Sensation perceives, and it only perceives. And what it's perceiving is reality, the reality that's verifiable by the person's sense organs. Now that I've covered what sensation is, which is just facts, or more specifically the sensory perception of facts, I'll get into my thoughts on the differences between extroverted sensation and introverted sensation types. Much like the other functions, the only difference is introversion and extroversion. That's it. It's whether the sensation is oriented more towards the outer world or whether it's oriented more towards the inner world. Sensation differs quite drastically between the two, and this can be looked at as primary and secondary qualities. Primary qualities are aspects of things that are objective. These are the characteristics of objects that simply exist as they are. They're not subjective. For example, a primary quality would be the size or weight of an object. These aspects can actually be measured. These are characteristics of the object that exist outside of your own mind. Primary qualities are what sensation is oriented towards perceiving first and foremost in the extroverted attitude. The extroverted attitude places a higher priority on objects in the outer world, so the subject's personal perspective or opinion of those primary qualities is not of as much importance as the objects themselves and the primary qualities that they possess. This would manifest in the real world as extroverted sensation types being the types of people that refer to things by their true size or their true weight. They might say things like he was 6 foot tall or it weighed about 50 kilos, that kind of thing. The introverted attitude means that the person places a higher emphasis on themselves over that of the outer world. How this manifests in sensation is that the person places an emphasis on their own perception of these qualities. For example, the 6 foot person becomes average sized or big or small depending on where the introverted sensation sees itself. Introverted sensation is oriented towards the subjective perspective of the sensory facts it perceives. The thing that weighed 50 kilos might instead be perceived as being heavy or something along those lines. The sensation isn't objective anymore. It's still very much sensation. The introverted sensation type is still very much oriented towards sensory facts or tangible reality. But rather than placing a focus on the sensory facts and the data itself as it exists in the outer world, the focus is instead being placed more on their subjective perspective of those sensory facts and data. So introverted sensation is geared towards perceiving the secondary qualities or characteristics of sensory data. It's geared towards perceiving the qualities of the objects that only really exist within ourselves, within our own minds. For example, heavy doesn't exist in the outer world. It's not a sensory thing that can be perceived. Instead, it's a subjective construct. It's not actually real in the tangible world. It's basically just something that's made up in our heads. For an even more generic example, let's consider an apple. You can look at the shape and size of it, etc., and the extroverted sensory fact is you're looking at an apple. The introverted sensory fact might be it's a red apple. Well, is it dark, light red, bright red? How red is it? What sort of red? The answers to these questions is what sensation perceives in the introverted attitude. Over the course of a person's life, the person is building up a database of experience, and it's from this experience that the person has a reference to the type of red that they're perceiving. The redness of the apple might be dark to some people but light to others, depending on their point of reference. It might be a nice, luscious red to some people and dull to others. Introverted sensation is highly subjective. Nobody perceives these secondary qualities of objects in the exact same way. So extroverted sensation is oriented towards perceiving the primary qualities of objects in the outer world. These, I guess, could be referred to as primary or objective facts. Introverted sensation is geared towards perceiving their own subjective perceptions of those primary qualities. So they're perceiving the secondary qualities the objects in the outer world produce within themselves. The secondary qualities are the subjective aspects of the sensory data that we're observing. You could summarize this as extroverted sensation perceiving objective facts and introverted sensation perceiving subjective facts. This would be completely true in my opinion, but again, it's important that we're on the same page when it comes to facts. We're not talking about logical facts or anything, just facts that exist beyond the realm of reason. Perception, what can be observed and verified with your own sensory organs. Hopefully this video has helped out a little with regards to your understandings of sensation. As always though, these are no more than my thoughts and opinions on everything. I make no claims to be the ultimate authority on sensation or any of this stuff. If you want, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications, that sort of thing when I make new content. Cheerio out. I'll see you later.